Texas Hill Country, one word, incredible. This is Daryl.
And Erin
On
on
Travel
Travel
with
with
D&E.
D&E.
On our Texas Hill Country trip, we spent 2 nights each in New Braunfels, 2 nights in Fredericksburg, 2 nights in Dripping Springs, and now 2 nights in San Antonio. On the first day, we took a day trip out to Boerne, Bandera, Ingram, and Kerrville. And then the following day, we went and checked out all the missions. It was an absolute blast. So let's take a closer look at all the fun things to do.
San Antonio was founded as a Spanish mission and colonial outpost in 1718. The city in 1731 became the first chartered civil settlement in what was now present-day Texas. The area was then part of the Spanish Empire. From 1821 to 1836, it was part of the Mexican Republic. It is the oldest municipality in Texas. It is the 7th most popular city in the United States and the 2nd most populous in Texas.
The San Antonio Missions National Historic Park is part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site preserving 4 of the 5 Spanish frontier missions in San Antonio, with the 5th being the Alamo. These outposts were established by Catholic religious orders to spread Christianity among the local natives. These missions formed part of a colonialization system that stretched across the Spanish Southwest in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. The Alamo is located real close to the hotel. Then from kind of north to south, Mission Concepcion, Mission San Jose, Mission San Juan, and Mission Espada.
The Alamo is a historic Spanish mission and fortress compound, founded in the 18th century by Roman Catholic missionaries in what is now San Antonio. It was the site of the Battle of the Alamo in 1836, which was a pivotal event of the Texas Revolution in which American folk heroes Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett died. Today, it's a museum in the Alamo Plaza Historic District and a part of the San Antonio Missions World Heritage Site.
Mission Concepcion stands proudly as the oldest unrestored stone church in America. Originally founded in 1716 in what is now eastern Texas, the mission was one of 6 authorized by the government to serve as a buffer against the threat of French incursion into Spanish territory from Louisiana. Developed by Franciscans and after a tenuous existence and several moves, the mission was transferred to its present site in 1731. This handsome stone church took about 15 years to build and was dedicated in 1755. It appears very much as it did over 2 centuries ago. Due to the fact that it was built directly on bedrock, it never lost its roof or its integrity. It remains the least restored of the colonial structures within the park. In its heyday, colorful geometric designs covered its surface inside and out. The exterior patterns have long since faded or been worn away. However, there are several rooms in which to see remaining frescoes with all their detail and creativity.
Mission San Jose was founded by Franciscan missionary Father Antonio de Jesus in 1720. The mission relocated 3 times after originally being placed on the east bank of the San Antonio River, south of the mission San Antonio del Valero, which is the Alamo. Many of the structures on the site before the 1760s were temporary. In 1768, construction of the existing church began and finished about 14 years later. The church's facade and rose window are considered the finest examples of Spanish colonial ornamentation. Starting in 1759 and through 1764, the plaza was enclosed behind stone walls to defend the residents from attack by other indigenous groups. At the time, 350 mission Indians lived on site in 84 2-room living quarters along the compound's walls. Known as the Queen of the Missions, this is the largest of the missions and was almost fully restored to its original design in the 1930s by the Works Project Administration. Spanish missions were not churches, but communities with the church as a focus.
Mission San Juan Capistrano was founded in 1716 in eastern Texas. Mission San Juan was transferred in 1731 to Spanish Catholics of the Franciscan Order at its present location. In 1756, the stone church, a friary, and a granary were completed. A larger church was begun but was abandoned when half complete, the result of population decline. San Juan was a self-sustaining community. Within the compound, Indian artisans produced iron tools, cloth, and prepared hides. Orchards and gardens outside the walls provided melons, pumpkins, grapes, and peppers. Beyond the mission complex, Indian farmers cultivated maize, beans, squash, sweet potatoes, and sugarcane in irrigated fields. Over 20 miles southeast of Mission San Juan was Rancho de Pataguilla, which in 1762 reported 3,500 sheep and nearly as many cattle.
Mission Espada is a Roman Rite Catholic mission established in 1690 by Spain and relocated in 1731 to present-day San Antonio, in what was then known as Northern New Spain. The mission was built in order to convert local Native Americans to Christianity and solidify Spanish territorial claims in the New World against encroachment from France. A friary was built in 1745 and the church was completed in 1756. The relocation was in part inspired by fears of French encroachment and the need for more missionaries to tend to the Indian population. The mission encountered great difficulties in presiding over the Indian population experienced common rebellious activity. Just north of Mission Espada is the Espada Aqueduct. The Espada Aqueduct was constructed in 1745 by Franciscans to serve Mission Espada in the surrounding area.
We also made a day trip over to Boerne, Bandera, Ingram, and Kerrville. There were some really nice points of interest. Let's look at those. Our first stop on our road trip here was in Boerne. That's about 30 miles outside of San Antonio. So Boerne is known for its German-Texan history. In 1840, a Bexar County surveyor named John James ventured north of San Antonio into the Texas Hill Country and found what was eventually become the city of Boerne. By 1870, Boerne had 250 citizens, and the Native American presence in Kendall County was no longer a threat. This decade brought a new wave of British immigrants to the Texas Hill Country. So the population of Boerne was a little over 10,000 at the 2010 census and now close to 20,000. And as you can see, the town is beautiful and vibrant. You've got to check out just how nice their main plaza is. You can just imagine seeing Wild Bill Hickok sitting there on the bench. And here's a statue, a couple of kids playing in the fountain. Just a beautiful park. We also went into the historic Joseph Dinger building and looked around at their gift shop. There's a cafe you had to walk through first. This limestone commercial building was built for Joseph Dinger back in 1884. So the ground floor houses grocery and the second floor provided living quarters for his family. Just a neat old historic building. We also decided to take a walk down the Boerne Riverwalk. Man, now that's a lot of turtles. We ran into a Mexican restaurant called La Gutierrez, and I'm gonna tell you what, it was from pretty good Mexican food. Everything's delicious, reasonable, and good service. So try them out if you're in Boerne.
Our next stop was Bandera, the cowboy capital of the world. This title originated when Bandera became a staging area for the last great cattle drives of the late 1800s, confirming Bandera as the cowboy capital of the world. A bronze monument honoring the many national rodeo champions who called Bandera home stands on the courthouse lawn. As of the 2020 United States Census, there were 829 people living in the city. A blend of Indian, Mexican, Polish, and Western cultures give Bandera a unique ambiance not found anywhere else in Texas. A sign on Main Street in front of the fire department states that Bandera was founded by Polish Roman Catholic immigrants from Upper Silesia. St. Stanislaus Church was built by those immigrants and is one of the oldest churches in Texas. Many of the residents are descendants from those original Polish immigrants. The church was originally built in 1876 and was constructed of native limestone. It's an incredibly beautiful church and a true work of art.
We also stopped by the small town of Ingram, which was founded in 1879. The two main points of interest here are the murals and Stonehenge 2. The murals in Ingram depict Kerr County life from the 1880s to the 1920s. The murals are pretty cool, and they give a great picture of the early life of people in this area. And next up is Stonehenge 2. So it was erected as an amusing art project by the late Al Shepard and his friend and neighbor Doug Hill. It took Shepard 9 months to build, and is 90% the height and 60% the width as the original Stonehenge. He also decided to add in two 13-foot Easter Island head replicas for good measure.
Our final stop was in the town of Kerrville. It is a city in and the county seat of Kerr County, Texas. The Coming King Sculpture Prayer Garden. The Coming King Foundation was formed on April 6, 2004 as an independent nonprofit art museum. Its mission is to bless, inspire, and educate the public through exhibition and monumental spiritual art and biblical sculptures. The 1930-foot-high garden was officially dedicated on September 13, 2015. A 24.5-acre garden park featuring $2.5 million worth of Christian art, including the Empty Cross, the most symbolic cross sculpture in the world, displayed with world-class landscaping including 3,500 massive limestone blocks. Some of the best views of Kerrville can be seen coming from the garden. The 14 sculptures donated by 3 internationally known artists are surrounded by native plants and hill country adapted garden. If you believe in a higher power or just enjoy fine art, then this is a must stop if you're in the area near Kerrville.
We stayed at the Hotel Valencia Riverwalk while in San Antonio. The hotel style blends Spanish colonial and modern Mediterranean. There are 213 rooms, some facing the Riverwalk, while some facing the street with views of the skyline of the downtown area. The restaurant and bar offer relaxing, gathered places for cocktails, including a patio overlooking the Riverwalk. We really enjoyed Hotel Valencia Riverwalk. We'd definitely go back again.
The San Antonio Riverwalk, also called Paseo del Rio, is a 15-mile-long riverwalk and a must-do in San Antonio. You can explore on a self-guided walking or bike tour of the riverside paths lined with beautiful cypress trees, shops, museums, hotels, and of course, Tex-Mex restaurants. The Riverwalk has a flotilla of boats that tour the Riverwalk area. One of the best ways to experience the Riverwalk is on these hop-on, hop-off boats, which glide past iconic spots like the Amazon River Theater, Marriage Island, and the San Antonio Museum of Art. Visit during festivals and holidays like St. Patrick's Day and Christmas for exciting river parades and spectacular light illuminations. A little known fact is that the Riverwalk is actually part of the San Antonio flood control system and has proven extremely successful in controlling San Antonio's devastating urban flooding problem. This is our second time we've made it to the Riverwalk, and it's always fun going into shops, eating at restaurants, and doing some people watching.
I'll tell you, we had an absolute blast out of San Antonio and in Texas Hill Country in general. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like that video, feel free to share it. Make Texas Hill Country one of your next destinations to make memories with family and friends. I'll have links below on all the other Texas Hill Country videos we have available. And check back on all our additional travel content on Travel with D&E. And we will see you on the next video.